Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Dialogue here on the Unkle Junior Network. I am the Uncle Junior, and with me today is this panel of educated experts, right? So we got across the table with Chris, we got Dwayne Dwyer, the mindset coach, we got the other artist name is known as Antoine Christopher. We got Dr. Thomas Easley and none other than two-time best-selling author Victor Vizion. Gentlemen, it is Wednesday afternoon, 7:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How are you guys doing today? Did
I
Antoine
ain't
say
gonna hold you.
blessed?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, like
Once in a while, I feel the lightning bolt. Once in a while.
it's a virus, whatever it is. His firewall down.
Hey, look, man. It's been
Proud of you, bro.
you hear that? It's twice, two weeks in a row. You didn't get
There you
that.
go.
It is, yeah.
2 weeks in a row, man. Antoine, man, I could say some things right now, but it may go over Antoine's head. But I know Coach will get it all day and twice on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So, gentlemen, hey, look, man, I am so happy that we are here today, gathered here today, gentlemen. But they were here, man. You know, like I'm done with school. You know, I'm off for the summer. I don't go back
Congratulations.
into, huh? I don't go back to
Congratulations.
near the end of August, so I got a lot of time off. I had some time to relax and chill for the last couple of days and stuff like that. So I do believe in self-care. So men, please make sure you be intentional with your self-care. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no one is coming to save you except for other men. So, and that's why we're here today. And for the last year and a half, ladies and gentlemen, we have been doing this show called Elevated Dialogue. And today what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some old video clips. And then we're going to talk about some recapping of some different shows and different things like that, man. But even before we do, man, is there any particular moment? I go around, man. If anybody got any particular moment that kind of stands out in your face or in your eyes, you know, from the last year and a half. And before you do, I want to give a shout out to the chat and anybody who's watching at home. Feel free to join in tonight, like, share, and comment on this video and everything like that. So, gentlemen, anything that stands out to you, as far as any show over the last year and a half? You muted, Antoine. I hear you talking though.
I said, come on, Vic, let's get that first one over with. Come on, bring it to me. Bring it to me.
Hey, let me tell you. Hey, let's get to it. Since it started with some of the people on the panel from the time that we had like kind of like the pilot episode to where we are now. Like the first episode that we recorded in North Carolina was kind of like, you know, like a pilot brainstorm type of session to figure things out. And then when Unc said, hey, Vic, I got somebody I want you to talk to and I want to record it, I already knew I was set up.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is that Unc is an assassin, you know, and in the conversation that probably should have went an hour, of course, Antoine extends everything. You know what I'm saying? So in the course of trying to gain some understanding, you know, I brought up where people have repeated over a few episodes over the last 18 months that Antoine and I are two different kinds of black. And he lost his, he went somewhere else. He just didn't want to hear what I had to say, the usual. And then by that time, I knew that he was going to be whoever he was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So it was like my introduction to him. And I was like, well, I embraced it because somebody's going to always play devil's advocate, even if he don't know what the hell he's talking about sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So that made it even more live action. And over a scale of time, you gradually see Antoine start to understand the thing that I initially spoke on. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't overlook culture. All of us don't have the same beginnings, the same understandings. And so from the time that I told him that we was two different blacks and two different types of blacks, oh man, it's been on ever since.
That is true. But I will say this in my defense. I don't think he explained it and said it properly, but that's me.
And again,
I'll take the blame.
not much has changed. You know what I'm saying? That's how consistent he is.
I'll take the blame. But I but I like to say he didn't explain it nicely.
Well, you know what? Here is about I'm gonna play about a minute or so of this. This is the actual first episode that was actually recorded. It was recorded in my house, and I think in November of 2021, something like that. So this is where it all began. It was in my kitchen. Shout out to James Summers. He is the one who did all the recording and editing and everything like that. So that's my guy. He's been on here before as well. Can y'all hear it? All right. Welcome to the Unkle Junior Network. Today's show we're gonna be have Victor on here, and we also gonna have Thomas. What, man? Okay.
Good intro. I like how you did it.
And first of all, I'm just gonna have them introduce themselves, and then we get into some conversations.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I guess it's on me.
Yeah,
so, hey, I'm Victor Vinciant. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army for 12 years and 7 months. I got out in 2013. I worked and lived in Afghanistan for 4 years after that. I published 2 books, one of them being The Code. It's a blueprint to solidarity among reasonable Black people, and it's designed to get a conversation going
since the beginning.
Solutions on behalf of Black people.
Yeah, since the beginning.
Dr. Thomas Rashard Easley, author of My Heart for Diversity, originally from Birmingham, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, that's right. Crimson all the way, right? I'm a forester, I'm a geneticist, and I'm an educator. I'm also an activist. I'm a hip hop artist and a CEO. So it's interesting, time to have this conversation.
Yeah.
With the brothers. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah. So how do I move this thing?
First of all, Doc, that beard was glorious.
Even I noticed the sheen too. I was like, dang, I really did take care of my beard back then. Yeah, oh, wow. I mean, and matching with the black hat, hat is like, okay.
You did that, man. Thoughts, man. Dr. Easy, that was a year and a half ago, man.
I can't believe that, man. Wow.
Hey, I wasn't a part of the show, but I like that sriracha chili pepper shirt.
T-shirt, yeah.
Oh man, you ain't seen nothing yet. That was interesting. That was for me like it took a lot for me to finally get behind the camera. And like a lot of people, I don't like the sound of my voice, right? And then I've always had a stutter and a lisp. So, which it is what it is. So I've not always been comfortable talking and speaking to people. And that was part of the reason why I did it. There was a small portion was because I wanted to be able to overcome, that challenge of, feeling insecure about the way I speak and the way I sound and the way I talk and different things like that. Because if I have something to say that is important and that may be valuable to somebody, I can't let my own insecurities affect the ability to be able to help and support somebody else. So here we are, man, a year and a half later. That's it. Vic, you got anything else about the first show?
Not yet. I'm more so just waiting for things to develop. You know what I'm saying? I treated the first one as just more of a familiarization and introduction, and the conversation gets better as we go.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna roll on with number 2. So this one is from the show, and at the end of the day, all of the video links to all of these clips or whatever that we're going over today, they will be in the description, so you can feel free to look at them. This one is called "I Can Clean Up After Myself." So you can probably guess who this is about, but let's roll with it.
I like picking up after
Y'all
myself.
hear it?
I clean after myself. I have no problem doing dishes after myself. If anything, my girl knows when she comes into this place, don't leave dishes in the sink, pick up after yourself. That's just normal decency. I'm not going to leave my pants on the floor so my wife can pick up after me. The hamper's right there. Who does that?
Oh man, Antoine, what do you think?
I stand by that. I still do that to that day.
Hey, we need to call him the Rantwan.
I don't want no makeup on my counter. You better respect my pots and pans, and I like my glasses. I don't want no plastic cups and that shit. No, that's for the beach. I still say to this day, she will pick up after herself and make the damn bed when she leaves it. Oh yeah, that ain't even gonna change. I want a fresh, fluffy sheet too. And she better know how to wash dishes too, because we don't have enough dishes between us to use a dishwasher. So you put your hands in that water and start stirring that shit up.
So who's going to wash the dishes?
I wash up after myself. I'll teach her. She'll learn by example. There should be no dishes in that sink before we go to bed.
Oh.
So
you wash your own dishes and she wash her own dishes?
No, I wash all the dishes. I mean, I won't pick a pat, but she don't know how to do it. Definitely know how to do it. And no
Chris,
granny.
You shaking your head.
Listen, I am just listening. This is amazing right now.
It's true.
You never saw that episode, huh?
Evolution. Hey,
the evolution of elevated dialogue.
I'm trying to tell you, evolution.
Am I wrong?
No.
I want to hear if I'm wrong.
It's not a matter of you wrong or not, Antoine. You just consistent. That's it. Ain't nothing. You ain't gotta get no deeper explanation than that.
Okay. And no granny panties either.
Hey, look, that's why I call you. That's why I call you Rantwan. You didn't even have to. You didn't have to mention nothing about granny panties. You know what I'm saying? You're just going off on a rant right now.
That's important. That goes along with the cleaning.
Cleaning, Antoine. I honestly didn't think, huh?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Nothing at all.
Hey, that's why I had to tell him to mute his mic one time.
I don't even know. I couldn't find that one. I was looking for it.
Did you say one time?
Yeah, one time.
Mute your mic now.
Is that the right one? Hold on. Let me go back. I gotta go find the next video. So you guys talk or say something.
Man, look. Look, this the episode where we're gonna air out the dirty dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to respect where people stand. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point of the show, is to show that, hey man, everybody's got their own space, and nobody's coming here to try to change anybody's mind, but to have the conversation that at least lays the groundwork for, you know what I'm saying, a better understanding, a better connection and communication. That's just what it boils down to, you know?
Yeah.
But whatever decisions you make on your own, that's on you.
Yeah. And we also got to remember that, like, when we first started off, it was only 3 of us. So it was just me, Vic, and Antoine. So there wasn't, you know, me and Vic did the best we could sometimes to clean up Antoine, but, you know, no one speaks Antoine like Coach does. So Coach still wasn't alone yet. So we were still struggling, trying to keep Antoine in line. I'm kidding, Antoine.
We've been babysitting the whole time.
Man, that is so wrong.
Antoine, do you remember the episode when you had the Antoine Survival Guide for Men?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I said some stuff on that show.
Triple Eight.
There was an episode, and what we did was we were talking about something. I don't even remember what it was, but then Vic was like, "Hey, we need to hear Antoine. Give us your survival guide for men." And Antoine giving it to us. So let's jump into and let's hear what Antoine's survival guide to men is, and then I want to hear what you guys think about it after we come back.
Make sure you find out what it is you want to do in life. Second, make sure you make money doing it, and make sure you enjoy doing it, because then after, money will just come with it and you won't even know it, because you'll be enjoying doing it so much you won't even feel like work. Third, that allows you to have the financial stability to pick and choose who you want, and the quality is a lot better up there, right? And fat women need not apply. Second, another one, this is another one. You're going to love this one. Have your own place so she can never kick you out of it. And make sure she understands the door, the same door she walks in is the same door that's going to hit on the way out if she doesn't follow your rules, right? Never move into her place. This is survival skills here. Never move into her place. Make sure you stay in your place. And another thing, when you start making money, make sure you find a friend that's a good friend, great friend. Make sure he's a lawyer, right? Because you're going to use those skills for free because you'll be exchanging with him. So surround yourself with good company. Oh my gosh, man. I remember that, boy. Well, am I wrong? Was I wrong? Chris, was I wrong? Am I?
No, you're not muted. You're just laughing.
Come on, Chris. Let me hear you say, was any of those points wrong? Let me ask Chris.
Fat women need not apply. That's what we're doing. Okay.
I mean, it's a preference.
I'm honest. When was the last successful man you see walking around with the Goodyear blimp? Let's be real. When? Doesn't happen. I'm just saying.
Okay, so who was more in error? Antoine saying fat women need not apply, or Uncle Junior putting a picture of a fat woman up there?
I was still.
And then he had the lady with the blank face, like she was clutching her pearls. Fat women need not apply. Ain't that something?
Wow.
That was like the first couple of months. That was an early episode. But I mean, he talked about having, at the end of the day, Antoine, he said, know what to do in life, make money doing it, and have your own place. And be selective about the size of a woman that you want in your life.
And have a lawyer friend that you can mooch off of.
Have a lawyer friend that you can mooch off of.
Exchange.
What's that, Dr. Easley?
He said exchange. It's an exchange.
Yeah. I want to know how you find a doctor friend. I mean, a lawyer friend.
Well, first of all, you can go see a lawyer for free consultation. That guy. The one day
you frozen.
See, the divine creator, the internet guys are getting them for that fat person joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How come nobody get?
Did y'all see the passion on his face when he was saying it at the end, though?
Coach, you're not helping, buddy.
You're passionate about that lawyer.
Listen. I don't get what's honest. In all seriousness, women say they don't like short guys all day long. Nobody bats an eye. I say I don't like a fat woman, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute, hey, hold on.
I'm not judging you either way.
I don't get it. If a woman,
I just found it funny.
Right?
That is all. I just found it funny.
I'm only 5'6". I ain't grown anymore, and I can't do nothing about my height. But you can do something about that around your waist. I'm stuck. I'm just saying.
No judgment, bro. We're just making fun of it. That's all.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, I always hear that like it's a big thing to body shame, and I'm like, you guys body shame men all day. You know what? First thing out of a woman's mouth is 6 feet. Shit, I ain't even close to that.
I think some people. I think there is a group of people who are very triggered by the word fat. You know what I mean? Just the world that we live in right now with body positivity and all those different things. But I would bet that every man on this panel has no problem with a man or a person choosing to have a preference in the size of woman that they choose to date or marry.
Exactly.
Preference is preference. Go ahead, Vic.
I made a post today that says something similar, like, can men demand a woman wear her own hair if they can't grow their own hair?
What do you mean? So, like, since I'm bald,
right? And you tell me about my fat comment?
No.
So since I'm bald, I can't demand that.
No, I'm just saying, like if we play both sides, we play devil's advocate to everything that we talk about, right? If you ain't capable of growing hair, how can you demand you know what I'm saying, that a woman will be able to grow her own hair or wear her own hair? Like what like I don't know if there's an answer for that, but just to play off of both sides, because like Antoine was saying, hey, you could do something about you know what I'm saying, your body. He can't do anything about his height, But if you can't do anything about your follicles, you can't demand anybody else to use their follicles.
Vic, I love you, bro, but that ain't playing devil's advocate. That's just playing devil.
Yeah, I'm bald. Yeah, yeah.
I was about to ask if Lucifer was sitting on that couch back there.
Hey, I've had to be nice for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gotcha.
so like, hey, like if you in that hat fishing, you know what I'm saying? That's the same as wig fishing.
Hat fishing. Oh, that's when dudes always wear hats because
Yeah.
they ain't got no hair. I mean, I can grow some. I'm losing. I got like a the sunroof. You know what I mean?
I got
the
the yeah.
Hey, y'all,
Yeah,
Didn't
so
I
I just
tell
y'all
cut it
got
off.
the advantage. See, like you
Didn't
got
I
a
tell you he
beard.
was playing devil? I told you he was playing devil. Everybody triggered right now. Listen at y'all.
That is true.
Everybody checking. They like, hey, I
But
can't do anything about it.
The thing is, I already know what time it is. I know my hair is falling out. I'm not going to be that guy with the fro with the middle missing. That is just not happening. No.
Yeah, the Sherman Williams,
Cut it. Nope. I'm not doing the Sherman Hensley.
Sherman
I'm not
Hemsley,
doing
yeah.
the Sherman Hensley. I may as well just let it go.
Yeah.
But as men, if we're going bald, give them something else to look at. Work on your body. Get a 6-pack so they're looking down instead of up. You know, like refine yourself. You give them something to look at besides the top of your head. That's all I'm saying. We have to better ourselves, right? You got to work with what you got. I mean, if I was an ugly woman, I would make sure my body's hot so they're looking at least down instead of up. You know what I mean? I can get away with a fine-ass body. I can't get away with an ugly face and a fine-ass body. It's like when you see a fat girl that's small tits, you're like, how? You got to lose the weight. I don't.
Hey,
I
Rantoine. Like I said, here's Rantoine.
Is this what we're doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
We got to be honest with men too.
Listen, you heard it first on the Unkle Junior Network. I'm gonna issue myself a challenge. I am going to take one of Antoine's his one of many philosophical points, and I am going to turn it into something that people's going to learn and grow from.
There you go.
Clean him up. Clean him up, coach.
There's
No.
nothing to do.
I'm serious. I'm just going to take one of his points, and I'm going to turn it into
You
something.
gotta be honest. We're always trying to sugarcoat things, you know. We're being thrown body positivity in our faces, and that's not what we want. And nobody wants to say it. That's not what we want. Generally speaking, you can line up 100 men, and they're not going to say body positivity. I'm just saying, like, you know, we got to be honest. If a man's going bald, you got to get into shape. Give him something to look at. World is cruel today, man. It's brutal out there. It's a tough market.
I got you, Antoine. I feel you on that.
Amazing. This is so amazing.
It's a great show already, man.
Yeah.
Already. 26 minutes in.
Yeah, come on. What's
Well,
next?
hey, look, we're moving right along. We're moving right along. There's this concept or this thought process that, you know, if we are family, that, you know what I mean, everything is cool. I can mistreat you. I can do whatever I want to you. So we did an episode on whether or not, but family versus relatives. My thought process, this is just me. This is how I think. I believe that we don't have control over who our relatives are, but we do control who we choose to be our family. So just because someone have the same bloodline as me, that makes them my relatives, but that doesn't automatically make them my family. That's just my own personal thought process behind that. So with that being said, let me play this next clip.
Documenting, you know what I'm saying, the exchange. But there's absolutely a difference between relatives and family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the family you're born into, you can't change that. You know what I'm saying? But the things that you do while you're together is what determines if they're family or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or relatives. Because I've had people off the street do more for me than some of my own relatives. I've had people, like I've talked to you, Garfield, more than I talked to quite a few of my family members in the last, you know what I'm saying, few years.
But are we talking about?
What y'all think about Antoine's shirt before we move on? And he fly like a bird.
It's pretty sassy.
Not sassy.
Hey, I like that
welcome to the show, Roland, man. What's going on, brother? You muted, man.
You muted, bro.
I say it's a hard, hot day down here in Texas, but I'm all right.
Yeah. I seen the post, man. Gotta get you one of them hats. He'd be
I
wearing
got
when
it.
they cut grass.
I got it.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So what y'all think, man? Just in general, family versus relatives. What do you think? What's your thought process on all of that? And what kind of brought it up was even before that, and kind of my thought process before we came up with the show was that, you know, like I said, sometimes, you know, people say, hey, we fam, what's up, fam? You know what I mean? You know, and their hand is out like, hey, you know, let me borrow $20. And you're like, well, you know, well, we family. You know, people that throw up we're family in your face to try to manipulate you or try to get you to do certain things. So that's what kind of sort of spearheaded this conversation. But I am interested, you know, now that we are farther along down the road, what some of you guys' thoughts and perspectives are when it comes to family versus relative. There you go, man. Man, it's a good thing you came in. Everybody, they would just let me hang.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
I thought you were buffering, so the internet.
The internet gods, the internet devils got me.
But yeah, I agree with you. There is a difference between family and relatives. Relatives is who you share blood with. Family is completely different. And I do understand the whole do this for me because we are family type conversation. I am currently having this conversation right now with my quote unquote family, but they also need to understand that I do not do blind loyalty. I do not care who you are. I am not going to blindly be loyal, and I am not going to blindly do things simply because we share a bloodline. That is not going to happen. I am not, and you know what I'm talking about when I say this, Unc. I cannot do anything for you if it hurts me. I cannot do that. I am obligated not to do that, to keep it a buck. So it is what it is.
I get that. Any other thoughts? Family versus relatives?
I agree wholeheartedly with what Chris said because simply because you are related by blood, that makes you relatives. But family actually pours into you and gives you things not just monetarily, but gives you advice, gives you a shoulder, gives you the hard no, gives you sound advice, not just, hey, you need to do this, but sound advice to help you be better. Family is there whether you have a lot or have a little. Family is just what it is. It doesn't matter whether you met them 10 years ago and y'all just clicked and you found that bond, or you have been knowing each other since preschool. Family is what it is.
Yeah, man. Facts right there. Facts. Hey, shout out to John. Shout out to who else? Kavanaugh, Mr. TMI. What's going on? Hey, shout out over there to the Bold and Driven EP Network over there on YouTube. Shout out to Code Talk. Shout out to Empowering Perspective Podcast. Shout out to any other podcast out there. That anybody got anything going on? Shout out to you this afternoon. So John said the same thing, man. We all kind of sort of agree that there's a little bit of difference. What about you, Antoine? What do you think?
Well, I believe that family. You put family ahead of friends outside of family. For me, I believe immediate family is more important than extended family. I do believe that, and I believe that you should follow immediate family. They're the only ones that can really check you because they really know you inside and out. So I think they're the only ones that can really check you in a situation if they know you're going off the rails. I would rather, let's say I'm married, I would rather my wife go to my brother and say, listen, this and that, than go to her friend and talk intimately, or go to my brother's wife. I would rather her keep it like that. If I was going off the rails, I'd rather contact my family and ask my brother for help and say, listen, you know him, and I can't reach him, and this is what he's doing wrong, and I'm the real intimate stuff. So yeah, but I always give family a chance over friends first. They earn that right just by being family to me. To talk, that's fine one.
Hey man,
Antoine, you see what you did? You see what you did, Antoine?
About you. You made his intro about you.
Sorry. I was just talking about
This is why I say mute your mic when you ain't talking. Because see, like you leave yours on so you can jump in. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good one.
But do you see how destructive that is?
No, it was a good one.
No. Stop. Mute your mic. Let him talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rice.
I was a rookie back then. I didn't know how to even mute my mic. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't know when we first started this stuff. Remember, I was asking you guys for help all the time. I'm still a rookie at it too, but I'm getting better.
You still a rookie at it 18 months later? You can't.
Yeah, I really, yeah, I do. I really do, man. I got to get into this tech stuff, So,
So even back then, Vic was telling Antoine to mute his mic. You know what I'm saying?
Consistent.
God, I love this show.
Did Antoine have a flight suit?
Did he have on what?
Did
A
Antoine
flight
have
suit.
a flight suit?
He had a little
That was
karate.
my,
You ever seen the flight suit that the pilots wear?
yeah,
I think
that was yeah. Actually,
he had a little karate yoga suit on.
There you go.
Look at him, man.
that was my. I don't have that shirt no more. That was my Tom Hardy shirt. There you go. Yeah.
He looked like he was auditioning for Top Gun.
Look who he got. Look who he got in the background too.
Oh yeah.
I think this was before. I think this was pre-slap though. I think this was pre-slap episode.
Pre-slap.
They got the same hair.
Pre-slap episode.
Hey, whatever happened to that guy? That guy K Rice. Whatever happened to him? Did he ever make that decision with? Remember his job thing he was going through?
Well, Unkle is wearing his hat. He's still doing his thing.
Good for him, man. Yeah, he was a nice guy. Oh, that's nice. Oh wow. Yeah, bring him back.
Oh yeah, I also want to say, I don't know if, well, no, I ain't gonna throw all our behind the streets business out on the street about the logo and nothing like that. Man, I forgot what I was gonna say. That episode was, I think it was called "You Need a Trade."
You need a trade. It was.
Yeah, you need a trade. What do y'all think about that? Y'all think guys still need a trade nowadays, or y'all think they should be heading off to college and going to get these degrees? What are y'all thoughts on men needing a trade?
I think every man. Oh, I'm sorry, Coach.
No, I was just curious. What ages are you referencing?
Oh, shoot, any age. Shoot, whatever age you want to talk about, whether they. Well, actually, you know what? Let's start off with under 30.
I think
you're talented. I mean, if you're an electrician, you're good at it, you like it, you love construction. I mean, I just think you should follow where your passion is. I mean, school's great and all. I'm not going to dog it. I'm not going to say don't go. But for like an electrician, people that like that underwater welding, those are specific things. You're born to do that, right? Because you don't have fear of that. So no, man, a trade, nothing wrong with a trade, going straight into a trade. After you get your high school and do all that stuff, I mean, you want to be able to form a sentence, but yeah, definitely, I'd say go for a trade. College is not for everybody. You could study at the Louvre. You ain't gonna draw as good as me. It ain't gonna happen. I don't care where you graduate from.
Triple A.
Jesus
all about it.
Jesus,
we gonna find a way to get him, and no matter
Find a way to do it again. I love when you strike in for
You can come out of the Louvre, man. You can come out of the Christian Louboutin school himself. You ain't drawing like me. No.
I think school ain't for everybody. I mean,
there you go.
I agree.
Some people go to school like, I got kids that went to school, got degrees, but ain't doing nothing in those degrees, and they finally found their passion, and that's what they're passionate about, and that's what drives them. So if you can find something that drives you, or if you can find a trade, a skill that you can market to make you money how you like to make money. Because people like to say, if you go to school, you're gonna make money. No, a lot of us gonna go to school and get these to make 20 years. So, I think that school is for some people, and some people may do well in the scholastic arena, but it's not for everyone.
I am starting to see more people not go to school because they can pay $5,000 to $7,000 for a certificate, turn that certificate into a business, and then may earn their own money, as opposed to owing a university tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt that's going to hover over their heads for the rest of their lives.
I got people.
It's a mortgage on the education in some cases. You know, like you paying like you got a 6-figure, education debt, and you can't even, what I'm saying, live in it. you could have had a small house. So when you just look at I think education should be there to enhance something that you already do, unless you're going to school to go do something like be a geologist, something that requires a certain discipline. You know what I'm saying? A level of specialization, similar to what Antoine said. Same thing. That there's probably some schools out there that can teach you a trade too, but if you just need to take the short route to it, then that's what it boils down to. It's about how applicable is college education to what it is that you're trying to do. So it's the first determination in whether or not it's worth your time.
And Vic, could you imagine coming out of school? You got it. You got your degree. You're like 150,000 in debt. I mean, you know how long it's gonna make that even for you to even see a dent in that money, and that's money you just borrowed to get through school, and you come out with some frivolous degree. Some people come out with just a simple degree, and I'm like, you gotta pay that back on top of with interest.
I don't think sometimes the 21 or the 22-year-old mind is really processing that information yet. You know what I mean? I know I wasn't. I got my first credit card in college. I went to college in 1993, and back then there was these little things on the wall, and you signed up for a credit card. You put a little tab off the bottom, and then you call a number, and yep, $500 was my first credit card. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. I ended up racking up a little bit debt, but when it comes to a trade, I think that I think yes and no. I think that there's a time and place for it. I do think that it's always good for a man, if they don't have a trade, to have some sort of skill that they can use, some sort of high earning skill, some sort of skill that they can use at any time if it's not a trade. So I think yes, a trade is good, but I think also sometimes depend on where you at, your location, different things like that, and even sometimes what's available. Like for my wife, where they live on the reservation, even if there is a trade, may not be a lot of work, even if you have a trade. So it may be better to get, a skill online and then work from home. So sometimes location can play a part in determining whether or not a guy should get a trade. But I do think they should start at an early age of learning about themselves, and then, some sort of trade or some sort of something that can eventually, with over time, pay off. You can get better at the scale. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I just think that. So number one, I'm agreeing with what everybody's saying. I'll start off with that, but I don't think that's a blanket statement across the board. I think that evolves with the person. I think the right answer is that a child, as they're in their teenage years, they're actually sitting down with their plan with their parents, and they're mapping out their future for what they believe they want to do. And the parent helps them to understand the different options they have to do that. But without a plan, in most cases, a lot of young adults, they actually springboard into life just trying to figure it out, and they end up wasting about anywhere between 8, 12 to 15 years just to find that passion that Rowan talks about. So I think the first stage is for the teenagers to sit down with their parents, and their parents find out what it is they think they want to do, and just try to talk to them about different options to do that. And to your points, college isn't for everyone because most kids, after going to school for 12 years, don't even want to go to college. And to, I think it was, I think Chris, you brought this to the table about certificates. Again, I work at the Cyber Center of Excellence, right? You have individuals there. You got lieutenants, captains, majors who actually have college degrees where certificates are wrapped in their degree plan. And so there are certain certifications that they have to gain and maintain to where the Army paid for it for them, of course, to a certain degree. But then the Army is the one that's actually paying for them to continue with those certificates, those certifications, because those certifications over the course of time is mad expensive. But we got to realize if the certification is worth its grain of salt, it's not just the certification, there's also the recert as well, right? So it's all of those things to factor in. But again, the parents are the one that should help the child create that plan. And then once that plan is created, then help that child along the path to meet those milestones of that on that plan. So should a child have a trade? Should a young man have a trade? Sure, absolutely. I don't agree. I don't disagree. Should a young man or just a person in general, should they get a college degree? Sure, I don't disagree. I think whatever your plan is for your life, that's the goal that you should pursue, which is should be again the plan that you and your parents created.
Yep, totally get that.
Yeah, like down here in Texas, one thing I tell these young guys, coming out of high school without a plan, don't want to go in the military, HVAC. You get you an HVAC certification in Texas, you can write your own ticket because I know I just had to pay the people $300 today because of the AC needed some freon. And I'm like, I just paid them. I had to pay $85 or plumbers or something like that. When you get those skilled trades where they're gonna pay you $100 just to step in the door, hey, you can make money. You can make a living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, man, wholeheartedly. So, hey, with that being said, one of the as you know,
Yep.
elevated dialogue, when it comes on, you hear that wolf, right? We consider ourselves somewhat of a wolf pack. Well, we are a wolf pack, and we each have our own individual wolf packs outside of this wolf pack. And one of the questions and one of the shows that we had a long time ago was whether or not women can be part of the wolf pack. So, um, here we go. Oh, I hit the stop button. That's why I keep doing that. All right, so even looking back here, see Coach already. He got his cup, so you already know he's sipping. He's just like, look, I'm about to. He already know that it's about to go down. You can see the look at Antoine's face. You
That's
can
what I was
just like,
about to
look,
say. Look at
yeah,
Antoine's face before you get started.
yeah, look at Antoine's face.
Antoine looked like, why
Already.
are you even asking me this question?
You ready, Antoine? This is the perfect time to segue into the final question of the night. And we are going to start with you. I'm going to pop it on I'm going to let you see it at the bottom first. I ain't even going to read it yet. Antoine,
Wow.
can women be part of your wolf pack?
How would you stop? No, man, no.
Wow.
The wolf pack is like sharks. And what happens? Women bleed. And what happens when a shark smells blood?
Antoine.
What happens when a shark smells blood? What do you think happens?
But Antoine, you are a man, and all jokes aside, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but when I lay at night, I like to talk to my girl. You know what I mean? And I like that support. And I can bounce ideas off of her. I might not take all of her ideas, but I'm sorry. As men, me personally, I think women can be part of your wolf pack. Like Coach mentioned before, women, that's the family wolf pack. And she not necessarily called her the leader.
Now you guys are moving.
You see, Coach was getting warmed up, boy. He was getting ready. You know what I'm saying?
Or a man, and all jokes aside. Not necessarily called her the leader.
Now you guys are moving the.
Oh, never mind. Anyway, y'all saw it anyway. I ain't going back to it. So what y'all think, man? Can women be part of the wolf pack? Wow. Or you come in on that first?
I still stand by that. 100% no. Wow. No.
I think that having that.
Oh man, you breaking up.
The same internet bug got me last week. He
Mhm.
he
Can
down
you
the
hear me?
street.
Yeah, we can now.
Okay, I said having 9 sisters and 5 daughters. I've had women pushing me through whatever situation I had to go into my whole life, and I think that dependent like this group here, you intermingle, it'll mess up the flow because this is just a male dominant group. But I don't think that you have just one set of people that you count on, one set of people that you adhere to their advice. So I think so because like my sister is my biggest proponent of anything with anything. So she gonna push me with whatever. She gonna support me. She gonna push me. So I think if you just thinking, oh, if you ain't got 2 balls in a cane, you can't hang. No, that ain't gonna work. If you do that in a lodge, you split that up in sororities and fraternities. But when it comes to pushing the
Just not letting you hear
individual
that.
and having a business mind, hey, sex doesn't matter.
Okay, but I think we need to define wolf pack because I'm not thinking family. Family doesn't count as being part of a wolf pack, right? Especially it doesn't count. A wolf pack is they serve a purpose. They're there for needs and runs, right? I'm not talking about the family that helps you because I got that in my brother. My brother ain't even part of my wolf pack. He's there as my support, this and that. He's totally separate from a wolf pack. I mean, I don't know how you guys define it, but I call a wolf pack as a person that serves the purpose within the circle of what you're building. There's lawyers, there's doctors, they serve a purpose, right? Not the one you cry on at night and all that boohoo shit. I'm talking about serving a purpose, moving forward and advancing you in life. No, women don't belong there. No.
The only lawyers I know are women.
Well, I feel sorry for you, but I mean, the only lawyers I know are men.
I'm not
right?
sorry for me because it gets what I need done.
I mean, like the best lawyers in the world.
Because if I was chauvinist and I said, okay, well, women can't do nothing but, it's the kitchen of the bedroom, Gina. If I was like that, then I would. Majority of the people I know are female. I'm not even gonna lie. Majority. So, am
I the only one not hearing
everybody?
Nah, you did.
He locking up.
Yeah, rolling.
Antoine got his internet button on his finger. He's muting him on purpose.
Am I the only one that can't hear him?
No, you are not.
Oh. He in a bad area right now. Somebody said I'm passing the bad internet around. Thanks, John. I had one.
Yeah, this was Vic last week.
Now it's my fault, huh? Hey, I got new internet today. You know what I'm saying? My system is hardwired in now.
So, hey, Bold and Driven EP sides with Antoine. He says that right. My wolf pack is not my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I believe that they are two totally different things too.
Yeah.
See, here's I do, but I think that there are people that can play dual roles. Like I got a brother, so I consider my brother as part of my wolf pack too. You know what I mean? Like he plays a brother role, and I think he can play both roles. However, in none of my sisters, I don't consider any of my sisters been in any of my wolf packs.
It is difficult to say this without sounding like. It is difficult to say this without someone having the excuse to put me in a box they know good and goddamn well I do not belong in. But I am going to say it anyway. There is a difference between your wolf pack, like your crew, your fellas, and your family wolf pack, like your sisters, your mom, your cousins, and all of them. I do not believe that with my day ones, with my fellas, I do not believe that a woman can be in there and the interaction still be the same. But then again, I'm speaking anecdotally because my friends are married or either are about to get married. So I do not think that they can fully be themselves like crew with their wives around. You understand what I'm saying? So it is difficult for crew to have a woman there because she throws off the dynamic because the men change. because there's a woman there. So I
Yeah.
do not believe that a woman can be in a wolf pack like that. Now, if we all going out, I bring my lady, you bring your wife, or bring my fiance, and we all out, then that's a collective wolf pack of couples being together because my day ones are friends with her. She's friends with the wives. They all get along like that. But with the fellas, it's the fellas. Sorry, ladies, but you cannot be one of the guys. No.
I think we need to define Wolfpack. Vic, define Wolfpack. How about that?
I would say your wolf pack should be comprised of people that are not related to you, that have they're an interested third party, and you don't necessarily report to them. You know what I'm saying on things, but they're a support system that's outside of your family. Now, how that looks varies from person to person because, like Roland said, the majority of people in his life are women. You know, so he can't simulate something different. He's gonna wind up, like politicking with people that fit in certain boxes, and some may not. Um, Man, like when I think about it, shoot, I grew up with a brother. I didn't grow up with any sisters, so I don't see where women fit into all dynamics the same way somebody else that grew up with, what I'm saying, a lot of women around may always find a way to make exceptions. I think when you define the wolf pack, it's helping people that can help you in most cases. If you got somebody that can't help you, they're not part of the wolf pack. Then at that point, if you look at your activities and things of that nature, like for instance, like I ride motorcycles, right? If you guys don't ride motorcycles, don't have trail,
You passing it around again.
Did it get
you
Vic too?
can't.
Got
You know
Vic
what I'm
and
saying?
pass it back to Vic.
Okay,
Internet
look.
bug.
Oh, I was saying, I'm like you guys that do or do not ride motorcycles. That'll vary how I communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk to you about riding. You know what I'm saying? A certain type of motorcycle. If you don't ride at all, you can't be part of that conversation at Wolfpack. Even if you're willing, doesn't mean you had a capacity to relate.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, that's a sign that Texas internet.
My
What?
my response. I can't remember what I said then, but I think my response is probably going to sound similar. I think to look at it from one perspective does not address the entire makeup of a person. I think every person has a ecosystem, right? And I say that to say I can't say, and I'm just going to use this like we are consider ourselves a wolf pack, and I can't say that wholeheartedly that I accept you as a whole person if I don't accept your wife as a part of that package. So Roland, Uncle Junior, Vic, I know you guys are married or in a very significant relationship. So I respect the fact that you were married, and from time to time you hear me ask, how are they doing? Right? There is a certain level of respect that the wolf pack has for the person and everything surrounding that person. I think that's the core makeup. Now, sure, when you look at the core makeup, just the dudes, sure, I got that part. I got what you guys are saying with that. But I don't think we can ignore the ecosystem of that person, because if something was to happen to them, then I need to be there for you for the sake of that. I understand what you're going through. And let's just be honest. You guys, you have a very invested sounding board that you bounce ideas off of. So I think that's something that we have to consider as well. So I think, and I want to say that this is along the lines of what I said back then, right? But I think when we talk about the wolf pack, you can't exclude them from it, especially if you're married or in a very serious relationship. They are a part of the wolf pack. They're just not in the core makeup of it. So sure, when we get together and we have an outing, absolutely bring them along. You know what I'm saying? Because we expect to see them with you guys, because that's part of who you really are. And I think when you strip them out of the equation, we're not getting the whole person in the wolf pack. And let's be honest, I need you guys at your best. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it is. The wolf pack has to be at each person in the wolf pack has to be at their best. I apologize about that. You know what I'm saying? But each person in the wolf pack has to be at their best. And so, with that being said, I have to take a vested interest in who you're interested in.
But okay, I'm not married, as you all know. I'm looking for the one. But you guys mean to tell me, why would my wife be part of my wolf pack? My wife serves a purpose at home. When I come home, that with all what I go through with the wolf pack, I come home to her and I need to vent this and that. She serves a specific purpose that I will never share with my wolf pack.
I think
just like I would never bring her into that wolf pack.
I think
It
it's
is
like an
not that.
honorable. I think
It
it's
is
like an
not that.
honorable mention. It's not that
It's an
somebody's saying
extension of yourself.
it's an extent, like meaning like if one of the men on the panel is having an anxiety issue with something that extends from their household, then it's going to affect how that person engages with the wolf pack. And saying that, most of us that serve, we know what it's like when you got soldiers that need a little bit more attention, a little bit more time to deal with their personal issues at home, and you know it's still going to affect their performance at the job. So you have to have a vested interest in that person's well-being under their own roof, because they can't wolf pack like they should be wolf packing, if they're at home trying to solve a problem. So the extension that coach is talking about and that other men see is that there's factors outside of like the people you immediately talk to, like even your significant other affects that. Like for instance, right? You do painting. If you got something that's involving your attention that's working on a painting, then the wolf pack is your support system while you trying to figure it out. You might need a break. You might want to come outside, you know what I'm saying, and get out of your space. You got a support system that you can lean on for that. But if things don't go well with your painting, and then you still got some obligations to the wolf pack, and then it's causing some level of disruption in communication because you're mentally preoccupied over here, that painting, your talent is part of what makes you valuable to the wolf pack too. You feel me?
Yeah, that's the service part that I.
So what I'm saying is it's like a courtesy extension. Like if Chris or any other gentleman up here on the panel, if I see your wife or girlfriend or significant other, she's embraced and protected as well based off of you. She's just not walking around saying, well, the member, the wolf pack member isn't there, so we don't have to consider, the well-being of your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Versus if you are visible, accounted for, and you know what I'm saying, like we recognize that that's your significant other, then we acknowledge her or whoever your significant other is, no different than we would just acknowledge you. That way she can feel safe too, because that's part of it. That's just all it is. Nobody's saying that go seek counsel on how to deal with the members of your individual wolf pack. But by extension, if it affects your well-being, like if like man, he got sons. They might not be part of his wolf pack, but the well-being of his sons affects who he is and his value to the wolf pack.
Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like his sons, my wife, your wife, everybody's external significant other serves a purpose where they are. But within the circle of the wolf pack and what the wolf pack serves and what they bring to the table, including yourself, has nothing to do with the external help you may get from family.
So you're calling it external.
It's an external. It's an external. It serves a purpose, but not within the wolf pack. It serves a purpose after you.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
I would never discuss things with you guys in the wolf pack and bring it home to my wife, ever.
Right.
That's what just like I would never have a breakdown moment with her and bring it into my wolf pack. That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. Like you're looking at this as the primary wolf pack, and I got that.
Right.
But it's like a basketball team. The basketball team isn't the starting five. You see what I'm saying? So the starting five on the court, those are the best ballers on the team.
Right.
But trust me, when you're playing a full basketball game, those dudes will run out of gas if you ain't talking about the bench players. You see what I'm saying? And I hate to put it that simple. Like go if you've never seen the movie Heat, go look at the movie Heat, my favorite movie, right? With Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Go look at that movie. When Val Kilmer's wife decided that she wanted to step out on him because he was doing something. That's a very extreme version, but Robert De Niro actually went to the hotel that she was at, and he went there on behalf of the dude. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, that's an extreme version, but look at it like this. we as a wolf pack should be willing to do good for members of the wolf pack, to include their spouses. So when I'm looking to do good deeds for you guys, I'm looking for good deeds to where I can help support your core nucleus as well, your ecosystem, the people who matter to you. So I'm not just looking out for you guys, I'm looking out for the guys that matter to you guys. And that's what I'm talking about. If we exclude them, you're only getting a part of the wolf. And like Vic say, the wolf, if the wolf ain't packing, he ain't wolfing.
Let me baseline it. Let me baseline
But-
it,
but
base level it,
I
so
just wanna
maybe
say
you can
something.
understand it. Hold on.
Okay.
No, she is not a part of the core. She will never be a part of the core. But as a part of you, she still falls under that because she is a part of you. We are talking about wives here. We are talking about that. If I were to see your wife out wilding out, I would go say something and then I would call you and say, hey, I just checked your wife because she's bugging out. If I
Right.
saw your wife getting into something and it wasn't her fault, I'm going over there to do something and then I'm calling you and I'm saying, hey, your wife got into something, it's straightened out, but you need to hear about this. No, she is not a part of the internal, but because she is with you, she gets the same level of respect as you do as a member of the wolf pack. Meaning, as an extension of you, we got to look out for her. We also got to check her when she wilding out and tell you we checked her when she wilding out. You
Okay,
understand
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yeah, that I agree with. Okay.
Would you, yeah, like the same
That's
concept.
what we are
you would-
talking about.
You would want somebody to help you. Like, let's put it like this: not even wives. You would want somebody to help your mother across the street,
Yes. Yes.
or help your dad change a flat. They're not in the wolf pack, but it's important.
Okay. Okay. I guess, and that's true. I get what you guys both said, Chris and Vic, 100. But I want to make it clear: my wife will never complete me as a man. She is my wife, and she serves a purpose. Just like I'm her husband, I don't need her to complete me. I was alone before her, and I could be alone after her. She serves a purpose in my life, just like I serve a purpose in her life. I don't want to complete her as a woman, because if anything should happen to me, she should be able to function, because we may have kids involved. So she needs to let me go and be the woman she needs to be. But she will never complete me as a man. I can function very well without her. And I will always function very well. I will shed tears if anything happened to her. But it ain't tears that's going to debilitate me. It ain't like I can't find another one. Let's be clear on that.
Come on, land the plane.
That's all I'm saying. This whole fantasy mermaid shit, no. We're talking real life here.
And so I think, yes.
That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I think we should say yes. Thumbs up.
No.
Whether it's up an ass or not, but just say yes. And because I mean, I actually agree. You know, I don't think that I don't think that anyone completes you. And I actually don't, and I think the fellas all agree with that. You know, but having someone a part of you and someone respecting that is, I think that everyone's cool with that. So, yep, I totally agree with that.
We respect them because we respect you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And I would respect you 100%.
That is the bottom line. And that is why we say, as a part of you, she's a part of the wolf pack, but not the core. We just respect her because you have her around. And we respect you enough to respect her.
Right.
That is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not any of the extras. It's just that you brought her around, so you must think something of her. So because you think something of her, we think something of her. Okay. If I know your parents, or if I know your sister, or if I know your cousin, what's going on, Miss Antoine Christopher? What's going on, Miss? What's going on, Miss Unk? What's going on, Miss Dwyer? They're external pieces, but not the core. So we gotta respect them because we respect you.
Okay.
That is what it is about. It's really about you being a part of the wolf pack and you bringing somebody else in as an extension of you. You understand what I'm saying? That is really what it is.
And men have code.
I'm sorry, bro. I thought I heard Vic say something I didn't hear. It rhymes with code. It just don't have a D and it don't begin with a C. I was like, wait, what?
What?
Men have what?
Men have a
yes. I was like, wait, what?
I absolutely love it here. I promise to God, I love it here.
Hey,
men have code, bro.
He did say code, yes.
Oh.
I thought he said something. Another term for garden tool.
hey, look, I knew somebody was coming in with some sexually undisciplined commentary. You know what I'm saying?
But look, speaking of which, y'all remember the slap that was heard around the world, right? So we did an episode and we called it "Not Another Will and Chris video." We're gonna go ahead and play a little snippet of this video.
Which video?
This was after the Will and Jada slap. Well, not Will and Jada, but the Will and Chris slap. Well, just one slap, the Will slap.
You commit a crime. Depending upon how egregious the crime is, there is a classification that they call premeditated, which means that you had time to think about the crime that you actually committed. So in the midst of him walking, he had the ability to think about what he was actually doing. Let me inject some more to the conversation as well. My wife that is sitting, not right beside me, but sitting in close proximity of me, if you catch what I'm saying here, she had the ability, because trust me and believe, there is no place in the program where I'm supposed to be getting up at this particular point in time. So she had the ability to ask me where I was going, but that never happened. So I look.
Yeah.
Let's revisit it. So I remember doing that show. Some people were saying that it was okay for him to slap, and some people didn't disagree. So we're about 20 minutes before we got to end the show. But I am listening, and I want to see what anybody has to say about that. Was the slap warranted?
I'd have told her ass to take a joke and shut up.
Hold on, let's get rolling real quick before his internet. Yeah.
I think was it warranted? No, because that show right there, where everybody been talking about that whole emotional intelligence, right there, his emotions took the best of him. Whether he was mad at her, mad at him, or whatever, it was a joke, and he could have handled it better. So him going up there trying to prove, oh, I can slap this little dude. You know, if that little dude was like, you know, he come up on me, hey, this Texas, I'm helping you out. I'm giving you a little heat. See, and then it would have been my fault, my problem. See, he needed to be emotionally in touch with his emotions enough to say, okay, I'll get you after the show. I talk to you man to man, not in front of the world to make an ass of myself, but I talk to you after the show. And I like Will. Will, my dude. But right then, he was dead wrong.
I have a completely different take. I would have told her to shut up and take a joke. It is what it is. That is what he is up there to do. And it really wasn't a joke. He was saying that she was good enough to be the next G.I. Jane. That is what he was saying. It just didn't ring the way that it was supposed to, because she was dealing with whatever she was dealing with. And I guess we are supposed to feel sorry for her. And if you look closely, after Will did it, Chris almost socked him, but he pulled himself back. If you look real close, he balled his fist up, lunged forward a little bit, and then stepped back and said, damn, Will slapped the shit out of me. And then went on with the show like a professional. I'd have told her to shut up, take a joke, and laugh. And if it was really that big of a deal, we'll talk to him after the show, like you said.
Okay. So when I saw it, I saw the whole clip. Will was laughing after the look that he said, wait a minute, I got something.
Divine timing.
Now,
Big gun, pass it down.
The Rock.
It is hitting every corner of the screen.
Antoine, you're probably messing up. Your internet jacked up.
Hey, am I hearing now?
Yeah.
Am I good now?
Yeah. Make it quick so we can get through it.
Okay. But if that would have been The Rock, if that would have been John Cena, if that would have been somebody white, his ass would have stayed exactly where it is. He would not have gone up there and committed acting devastation, because his career would be over. But he knew, being it was Chris Rock, a fellow black man, he can go up there and disrespect him, because I guarantee you he would not have disrespected The Rock or any others, Chris Farley or any other guy that was up there that was white. he felt comfortable enough to do that to Chris. And it's only after Jada gave him the look, he said, oh, let me man up and let me man up. And that was wrong. And all that did was make us look bad as a race. That's how I saw it. It made us look like we're just hood from the hood. The slap heard around the world. And it made us look so bad. And he's still feeling repercussions.
Right, get him up out of there. Rantoine.
I absolutely love it here.
Just locked up.
Hey, he just locked up. So, man, look, that whole scenario, and John's had a comment. See if you can highlight. He said Will Smith is sexually undisciplined. So, like, since then, I came up with a different assessment to try to
that one really.
Like think about it. Like, it's the sexually undisciplined woman
having fun tonight,
and the emotionally submissive man. Like, Will Smith he's done anything and everything to try to keep Jada, right? And Jada has obviously put him in situations where he's had to make emotional decisions because of her choices outside of the marriage, right? She's literally having her cake and eating it too, and then that is the outcome of it. So, like, their situation isn't new. I mean, it happens with people with less money every day. You know what I'm saying? And the whole point of it is that there's just a certain type of behavior. When you sexually disciplined, you got something to lose. You don't take the same chances. Those people in that situation made a decision that was just rooted in nothing but ego. It was all ego. It was Jada's ego. It was Will's lack of boundaries and still trying to win. You know what I'm saying? Jada's respect to some degree. So, like, there's a lot of moving pieces on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. And the whole point of it all is that people that are sexually undisciplined don't make the same decisions as everybody else.
Yeah, I was just going through the comments, man. They funny over here tonight. So shout out to the chat tonight. Shout out to the chat tonight. Hey, based on what Antoine said, it sounds like you think that men need to be a little bit more stronger than what they are. So with that being said, I'm gonna play this next clip. Elliot Ho stopped by one day and we got to chat it up for a little bit. So I think I asked him something about divining strength or something like that. I can't remember. I can't read all the writing on my chicken scratch.
Strength is overcoming resistance, right? So anytime we're in the gym and we press a weight, pick up a weight, squat a weight, lift the weight off the floor, we're overcoming what? Resistance. And so to the degree that you can overcome the resistance is to the degree that you're strong, right? So a man who can lift 300 pounds is stronger than a man who can pick up 200 pounds. It's also very objective. You can't say that guy is stronger than him because he feels stronger. No, who picked up the heavier weight? That's how you determine who's stronger. Yeah. And it goes the same way in life. I like the fact that Chris said that it's mental, it's emotional, because who can overcome the resistance better? A man who can overcome the resistance of an emotional attack is a stronger man than a man who crumbles under the weight of his anger or his fear or his lust. A man who can overcome negative thoughts, demonic thoughts that seek to derail him, is a man that's mentally stronger than a man who can't overcome that resistance. So it really boils down to your ability to confront and overcome resistance in any aspect of your life.
What are your thoughts on that?
Beautifully said.
Man, need to be 100%. Strong.
Resiliency, baby. Nothing else, you know what I'm saying, draws a line in the sand than knowing that you can protect yourself, you can overcome obstacles, you can visualize success before you even put your hands on something, you know, to accomplish a task. You can assert your will. And that's because you've had moments that have tested you, you know, to figure out what type of resolve you really had and what you're really made of, you know. So some people have an all or none mentality, generally speaking. And the minute that they have a minor setback or don't finish along their expectations, they quit. But resiliency is measured in repetition. You just can't decide you're going to go up and do it. You got to have something to begin from, and everybody's start point is different. It's up to you to, change your ceiling or change your lowest level.
Yeah, totally agree. Being a man, I find being a man is tough. We got so much to deal with. One thing OnlyFans has shown us is women just have to be. Men, we have to go out. We got to go out. We got to face obstacles. We got to work. We got to be provider. We got to make money. We got to get our game up. Every day we get challenges. And then it's still not good enough. We always have to improve. And I don't mind saying that we have to improve. And I don't mind that as men we have to improve and strive. But it's work being men. I don't even think people know or appreciate how much work we do as men every single day.
Right? I think everything you said, women got to do too, except piss standing up.
You would say that, but no. Women OnlyFans has shown us that women just have to. They just have to be.
Oh boy.
That's all it's shown us. They just have to.
Oh boy.
That is a very, very small group of people.
But they just have to be.
They're not the standard.
And you know what? The more prettier they are, the less they have to work.
But I will say this though. I will say this in agreement with Antoine, but it is not all of the women. I will never say all. Only Sith deals in absolutes. I will say
undisciplined women.
I would not even say that. I would say that it is the women that represent women in mainstream media and in social media that the women they do not represent are not telling to shut the fuck up. That is where we are getting this impression from.
I'm just saying, man, we got to do so much, man.
But I think when he was talking about mental strength or whatever, and I think living in the house with somebody who has gone to school and school after school and got degrees in psychiatry or whatever, psychology, that would lead people like us not to go seek help when we have mental illnesses, when we have mental problems, because you're going to say, oh, he weak. And the stigma is in the Black community. If you seek help, then you're weak. See, so thinking like that will lead to people saying, well, I just turn to the bottle, I turn to smoke, I turn to a woman. And it's going to be us. It's not going to be the one sitting down pissing.
Damn pissing. Man, it was funny, man. I'm enjoying myself tonight, man. Just sitting back here and just listening to everything that's going on, man. But
oh shit.
Yep. Chris look like he about to go, ain't he? Getting excited. Dr. Easy, something was said. I don't know what was said, but this.
I don't even remember these.
Dr. Easily still chilling over there. So
Chris look like he started drinking water since then. You know what I'm saying? He looked different. Looks so different now than he did.
Hey, man. 2.5 liters of water a day will do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what we got.
A good dad. Right?
I'm glad you say that you need to be around some men that you can be emotional around and not feel like you a punk.
Right.
This overreaching, extraordinary need to be tough. And if you show any kind of emotion, you are automatically viewed as a punk. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I meant by we need guidance. We need guidance to understand that we have emotions and we need to know how to figure out how to process those emotions in a positive manner and not in a negative, I'm going to tear your head off kind of manner that'll lead you in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. I am so glad you brought up the emotional side of this.
It's true.
So this is a crazy.
Remember that?
You damn right. You are damn right.
Yeah.
I stand by that 100%. I said this before, and I believe it was on Coach's show. I really wish that the whole women are emotional creatures thing would be dead, because we are all emotional creatures, because we all have emotions. The thing about it is, as men, we are not allowed to be controlled by them. We have to rule our emotions with logic. We are not allowed to fly off of the handle like our reflections do. We need to be around some people that'll help us process our emotions before we go tear some stuff up, because that is what is going to be next. Why do you think it is Grand Theft Auto outside right now?
Man, look, Vito Corleone on The Godfather said women and children can afford to be reckless, men cannot. And he was basically talking about making emotional decisions. You know what I'm saying? And he said it with a degree of stoicism, so it could be easily referenced. It doesn't take much to understand it. You know what I mean? So it comes down to that. This is how you get classified. This is how, like, men that don't control their emotions are just dangerous. People in general are just dangerous. But the lack of emotional control for men, it wears on us differently than it does, for our reflections, because we can't afford to be reckless. It's just not. It's not permissible. It's not anything safe, and it's an indication of your behavior, just in general. It's an indication of your individual problem solving and the way you process things. Solving problems from the subjective is not a good idea for men.
That's it. That's all y'all got. I ain't gonna chew on that no more. Okay.
What else needs to be said?
Yeah, it's just boom, drop the mic.
You said it's bone dry.
The bone, yeah. I was gonna say something like with the men and protection and stuff, and women. We say women are better communicators than men. I don't necessarily believe that. I think
They're
sometimes,
talkers.
most times, yeah, exactly. I think women just communicate too damn much. I don't necessarily think that they communicate better than men. But the reason why I'm going there is because I think that the people who can kind of command respect or command the room have they have a command of words, and so if I can command words, maybe I can get someone to listen to me. Maybe I may not need as much protection, in the midst of certain things. I'm not saying like cop pulls you over. I don't mean to no, I'm not talking about that, or a gang of people run up on you. I don't mean, but I'm just saying being able to articulate yourself in a way that you don't necessarily have to be protected, if you will, or that someone will come to your protection because they understand what's going on. I think as men, like this platform is so important because we have ways of communicating just like anyone else without even talking. We have ways of doing our thing. And I think that when people can be understood, then they're valued as being worthy of protection. And I think that men, we get the short end of the stick in many ways on that, especially today. We got to, just like Antoine said, we got to be able to do all of this other stuff, all of these other things, and other people. So I agree with it. I just wanted to add another little chapter about protection, value, and communication. That's all.
Not only that, we have to do all of this stuff without a safety net. We have to do all of this stuff without a safety net. Nobody is coming to save us except for our wolf pack. Nobody is coming to help us except for our wolf pack. We cannot, under any circumstances, allow ourselves to be reckless and emotional when it comes to our decision making. And we cannot continue to protect those who put themselves in harm's way on purpose. We have to let them catch their ass whoopings. Bottom line, I do not believe in protect all women. I do not. Let me go on record and say that. I do not believe in protect all women. I believe in protect the women that are not putting themselves in harm's way, that happen to get put in a harmful situation. That is what I believe. A lot of these women out here, and I'm not saying that it is all women. I always say that it is not all women. It is the women in mainstream media and in social media that represent women, that the women they do not represent are not telling to shut up, that are giving us this impression, which is why men are throwing their hands up.
It's very rare. You're right. It's very rare you see a woman check another woman. Very rare. They hold it's like kryptonite accountability. So it's very rare you see that. But yet when a man says it and a man checks it, oh, he's this and oh, he's that. He doesn't have the right to do it. What are you protecting them from? Like this whole dilemma of protection. What do you need protection from? I'm just curious. Like, what does that mean when people say we need to protect our women? From what?
I think we never look at the root. We look at the fruit. We look at what grew from the root. And so now we have these women that have certain issues with anger, certain issues with being submissive and all these other things. But we never go back to the root of the problem. If we went back to the root of the problem was when we neglected our duties. But we don't want to talk about that because we want to, I'm telling you, we never want to talk about what we haven't done, not us. She had to deal with that, but we'll deal with, oh, well, she got these bad A kids and she mad at the world, and she, we'll deal with that, but we never deal with the root. So we never solve the problem. All we have are a bunch of talking points.
No, how long are you gonna play that card? Jesus Christmas! How long are you gonna play that card? What? It's not my job as a man coming into your life to care about your roots. Plant. You know what?
Yes, it is.
Nothing grown from a sour seed can bear prosperous fruit. Sorry, your seed was sour. Get over it. There's a therapist for that. But if you're gonna bring that anger every single day and then expect somebody to come in and fix that, good luck. But why? Why would any man want to subject themselves to that? That's what I don't understand. So you're protecting them from what? It just doesn't add up.
I think Antoine's right. You definitely have to do a self-assessment and just go get some help, because that's not like not working on self is not a valid excuse to mistreat other people and bleed everywhere all over the place. You know what I'm saying, on other folks. It's just not.
And I ain't protecting you when you wrong just because you a girl.
Yeah, men always have to work on themselves. Men always have to do better. Men always have to hold their emotions in check. So women, you know what? Women have to keep their legs closed. Women have to pick better. Women have to judge better. Women have to vet better.
This is like talking to my kids.
Have to realize there's something called birth control. Women have to realize, you know what? Just because a man makes 100K doesn't mean the man making 50K is no good. He's a dusty. He needs to do better. He needs to get.
I'm with you right there. I agree with you.
Anyway,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I mentioned something that's a fact. That's the only reason you're with me.
But what I'm disagreeing with. See, you can't keep talking about what somebody else does. You fix you. And if you don't want to deal with somebody, don't deal. No, wait a minute. When your mouth moving, your ears can't hear, man. See, when your mouth moves, your ears can't hear. See, if you were to sit back and say, man, I'm going to continue to work on me. And let me work on me, not work on her, not work on this person. And then if she needs some assistance, I can possibly help. But I'm not going to pick somebody else and then work on. Yes, I gotta work on me. Yeah, I gotta do that. Yeah, it's not work. What I'm supposed to do.
So, I think the issue is that all of y'all are right. I think that's the issue. Like, no one said anything that was wrong. I agree 100% with every point that we're like. It's my responsibility to fix me. It's every person's responsibility to be accountable for themselves first. However, when it comes down to the community as a whole, we also need to understand where the systemic problem exists. I'm not saying the systemic problem is the reason that I should accept the systemic problem as an excuse. That's not, I don't think that's what Roland is saying. I think it's important for us to understand where the systemic problem comes from. That way, those people don't feel like they're being personally attacked, right? Because we are in the business of community building for those people who want to be a part of the community. So, with that being said, to personally attack people, you're not going to get any resolve from that. It's just going to be a whole lot of bickering back and forth. But Antoine, Chris, Vic, you guys are right as well. Because again, I can't sit around and say, "Oh, well, I am where I am because Antoine, you didn't help me." That's no. Come on, man. I think everybody here knows that. Everybody understands that at some point you got to be the captain of you got to be a part of your own rescue. But once we get healthy, right? Once we get to that point to where we can stand up on our own 2 feet and we realize that we got people who actually love us and care about us, and we're not looking just to mooch off of them, we actually have the conversation to say, "Hey, we recognize that there is a larger problem systemically that some people may not be able to see because they can't see the forest for the trees."
See why I always say I am sick of this fight? Do you see why I always get so animated when I say I am sick of this fight? Because it is stupid. It is a dumb fight to have. I am sick of fighting with my reflection. However, you cannot protect what you cannot correct. Protection is preventative. So, There are going to be times where we are going to have to tell our women, hey, you need to chill out. There are going to be times where we need to tell our women, hey, you need to go see your doctor and you need to get on this birth control thing because you are being a little frivolous with your vagina right now. And I ain't feeling that. We need to start telling our women, hey, you can start this stuff with this man if you want to. If he knock you in your face, then what you gonna do? You gonna come looking for me. You need to chill out. There's going to come a time where that is going to happen. That is not attacking someone. That is speaking a fact that could potentially save and better their lives.
Yeah,
I
agree.
hate this fight so much. It is so stupid.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do pack wisdom tonight or final thoughts tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to transition. We got one last video, and this video talks about this is actually a rolling piece right here. It talks about what do men bring to the table. So I'm going to play a little bit of this, and then after that, what we're going to end with, we're just going to go around. If you have something to share, share, and if you don't, that's fine too. And a lot of times we talk about men bring more to the table than just protection and money. You know what I mean? It's a lot more to men than just that. So what I want to do is take a few minutes before as we end the show, is to just go around and see what your perspective is, or just some words about what you think men actually bring to the table. And here we go. I think I'm at the right spot.
Everything, but yeah, I said patience. Patience is one, because I think when you're not patient, it tends to show in how, like, especially with your children or your spouse, whether they can come to you with hard things. If they can't come to you, they gonna go to somebody else.
I know that was short, but that was the main part that I wanted to capture there. And what Roland has started talking about was just the patient piece. So I think that's I think that's really, really good right there. It was really one good thing. But I just want to go around, man. What do you guys think is something also? What else do men bring to the table? What do men bring to the table?
Leadership, accountability, and empathy.
I think stability.
I don't really say leadership because I always believe that if you don't want to, you can't lead something that doesn't want to be led. So it's automatically we bring men as a presence our strength, our plain strength to govern. That's it.
Are you talking like physical strength or like mental strength? Like in what capacity?
We bring physical and emotional strength to any situation. We bring calmness. We're the ones that separate two men fighting. We bring our strength and our level-headedness to any situation. No matter what it is, we're the ones separating it. Right? And that's very key. And that's why I really don't use the word leadership, because you can't lead what does not want to be led, nor should you try. If a person is adamant about not letting you lead them, why are you beating that dead horse? You're only provoking it. That's all I'm saying. We bring strength.
I would say that men, within reason, men are the gateway to transformation. And the reason why I say that is because when you take all of these things you guys heard of so far, I agree that those are characteristics that when that a man brings to the table. But when he is on his square, he actually brings the ability to apply all of those things within reason, within the scope of every situation, to transform the family. And let's just be honest, in the wolf pack, right? They have the ability to transform from one phase to another. And I think that's important. When you look at family dynamics, when you look at raising children, things of that nature, the family does not look the same in the beginning like it did once the children graduate and leave the house. So when that man is and I'm gonna say it this way, when that man is in his zone, he has the ability to transform for that family. He can be whatever that family needs him to be at any given point in time, but not just himself. Not just himself. He also does it for the family, so the family transforms throughout the course of time.
My answer may be a little controversial. I am going to say nothing. Men bring nothing to the table. Everything you all talked about stems from one thing: covering. I do not bring anything to the table. Men do not bring anything to the table. Men bring the house with that big ass dining room with the crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling that you want to put that table in. We are supposed to cover you. We are supposed to cover all of those that are within our house. Your table is looking real good when you eating outside. I'm supposed to cover that table. So no, men are not supposed to bring anything to the table. We are supposed to cover it so that way everybody eats. That is my answer.
I like it. Anybody else?
Coach hit the note that I was mentioning when I said leadership. He just expanded on everything. All of that is about like being transformative. Somebody has to lead by example. It's not about like tying somebody up and walking them behind you. It's saying, hey, I'm working on self. I'm being a better representation of myself. I'm improving. You know what I'm saying? Like emulate it. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody else in the household has to take a step back and switch seats, you got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, support that too. So it's about decentralized leadership, knowing when to lead, when to follow, when to step up, when to step back, when to speak up, when not to say anything. You know what I'm saying? All of that is composed in leadership. It's not about barking. It's not about anything but just knowing where you're, you know, where you're most effective at, and then working from that space. Don't do anything that you can't repeat 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm saying? Without some level of supervision, guidance, or whatever. You know, it's about getting in the best spot to make the relationship work. That's what it is.
All of that is covering. You are covering everything and everyone you bring into the relationship. This is why I hate that conversation too. We are not supposed to bring anything to the table. We are supposed to cover it. Leadership, stability, partnership, decentralized leadership, all of those things, ego management, that all falls under the umbrella of a man covering what he brings into his covering.
Accountable masculinity.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Roland.
Okay. And mine is like go back to the military days with that leadership, providing purpose, direction, and motivation. Because when you provide purpose, you don't just say because I said so, but you give them that plan. You map it out. And
damn.
I know, right? This is a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
I knew this one was about to be fire. I was like, man, he did the army part. I was like, yeah, it's about to be it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Women are linking up with men that don't have a plan. They don't have a plan for themselves. They don't have a plan for you. So why you link up with them, and then you don't have the motivation to make me feel like, hey, I'm in this with you. You got my back, I got yours. So why am I doing it? And I think that my boy, he said it in his book best. He said, we don't have a lot of men now. We have a bunch of grown ass boys. And that's the problem.
Hey, you ain't gonna get no pushback from me. But gentlemen,
but I want to
hold on, Antoine.
Okay, go ahead.
We gotta wrap up just because we're 11 minutes over. And I want to be respectful of everybody's time who's here on the platform and anybody who's in the chat or watching at home. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Like I said, we're not doing Pack Wisdom tonight. We hope that you had a good time. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope that you enjoyed the clips and us going back down memory lane and even bringing some of the past conversations to light or to the forefront today. if at any time there is a conversation that you want to have, reach out to me, or honestly, you probably can reach out to anybody here. You know what I mean? We're all pretty open. We're all on Facebook. All our information is in the description. If you want to reach out to us, whether or not you know, if you're a guy and you want to be on a show or one of our shows or something like that, feel free to reach out. If you want to buy some merch, do that. If you want to join, whatever it is you want to do, you know what I mean, within reason, you know what I mean, reach out to us or whatever like that, you know. So with that being said, gentlemen, do you guys have anything else for the group before we shut this joker down for the night and resume back next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Code Talk tonight, 8:30. I'm doing an album review of Killer Mike's latest album, self-titled Michael. I dropped the link in the chat. So if you want to join and just have a good conversation about, you know, current events and stuff like that, that's what it is tonight.
Yeah. Chris, Coach, y'all want to shout out anything, plug anything before we get off?
I'm chilling.
Chilling. Coach chilling. Roland, Dr. Easley, Antoine, y'all want to shout out anything? Roland good. Antoine froze. Dr. Easley.
You know, definitely check out the Heartwood podcast, HEARTWOOD. I'm fortunate that I had like Stickman from Dead Prez on there, a couple other celebrities on there talking about environment, diversity, all kind of stuff. So, you know, check us out there. And then interested in some good, clean, holistic music in addition to Killer Mike, who's a family friend. You know, check out theeaslybranch.com. We have a lot of new things coming. Working with jazz guitarists now, live instrumentation. So, you know, the two things that I'm doing in the background are continuing to grow and blossom even more now. So check that out, please.
So I want to say that I am making my videos again. I'm waiting until I get up to a certain amount before I start releasing one every week. It's going to be educational, dealing with all sorts of art stuff. And the project I'm working on right now, which I'm able to show you, which is great. And I'll be talking about my process, how I do it. And it's really good. I mean, even if you're not into art and you ever think of dabbling into it and you want to get that, because, you know, art is very therapeutic. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's very therapeutic because when you're putting your hand to paper, I just want to say this, you're channeling, right? At least that's how artists look at it. So you can't think of something other than what you're going to put on the paper. And it's so funny how you struggle to put it on paper while you're in a mood of like you're just not feeling good, but then you'll be surprised what comes out on a blank sheet of paper. You actually will channel what you're feeling, and you might even create a masterpiece. So I talk about that stuff, and yeah, really good stuff coming up.
All right. Next show on the air tonight, Code Talk. Check it out. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, see you all next week. Gentlemen, have a good night. Peace.